Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another GTA online video. Well, I'm actually in single player, but this is a GTA online video. My name is Saintsfan, and today I wanted to make a video. Since there are so many vehicles in the game, I wanted to make my top 5 most underrated vehicles list. Now, I am going to start off by saying, obviously, this list is subjective. There are like 600 vehicles or some crazy number in GTA Online, and I'm sure everyone has their own opinion. So what would be awesome is if in the comment section, we could hear everyone's underrated vehicles. And I picked these vehicles based off of how long they've been in the game, based off of how, I guess, less talked about they are, and their usefulness. And we're just gonna hop right in because the first one is the one I'm driving. This actually is probably, if I had to rank them like 1 to 5, this is probably, even though I'm gonna crash, this is probably my #1 most underrated vehicle. This, I don't know what it is about the XA21. This is a supercar. I just absolutely love this vehicle. And I've freaking have been in love with this vehicle since it is released, however many years ago it was. This thing, in terms of performance, is pretty solid. I mean, yeah, look, it's not top tier. It's not #1, #2, #3, but it is up there. It will perform and hang with pretty much most of the supercars. And if you're a good enough driver, it could definitely beat those other supercars. So as far as performance goes, like, there's really nothing to say against it. And the handling on this vehicle, even though I'm just driving it in a straight line here, is so buttery smooth. I love driving. This is one of my favorite sports or supercars to drive around in whenever I do decide that. And I'm not entirely sure why it is so underrated because, I mean, I think if we get into the sun here, this thing looks incredible. Like, it's not too crazy with like crazy lines. It's a somewhat simple design, but it looks incredible. And it's got really awesome stock rims. The rims, these are some pretty unique ones. It's got a great engine sound. The back spoiler is one of the ones where it comes up when you move. And the back view, like when you're looking at it in third person, which I think is something that a lot of people rate cars on, maybe not consciously but subconsciously, because that's what you see every time you play GTA. This is one of the better looking supercars from the back in the game. And still, with all that being said, for whatever reason, I never hear anyone talk about it. I never see anyone drive it, and I feel like it is one of the most underrated supercars, just, or if any cars really, in the game. And that's why I love this vehicle. And while we're in the supercar class, I think one of the other most underrated supercars is this one, the Vision. Now, this one, honestly, it's got a weird front. That's, at least to me, the front bumper is it's a little awkward looking. But from the back, this thing is so sexy. And it, again, much like the XA21, it is a pretty solid performing vehicle compared to every other supercar. And people just overlook it. I mean, it is, I guess, a little understandable why most cars get overlooked because, again, there's like freaking 500 in the game. And it's like every other week there's new supercars, new sports cars. So it's something that there's almost too many because it's like you don't ever know which one's good and you just kind of just pick one and just go with it. So I understand it, but I love this car to drive around in. It looks great, and when I'm driving around in a supercar or sports car, any car, if the back doesn't look good, like if it doesn't have a good looking back end, that sounds weird, then I'm not driving it. But you guys know what I mean. So yeah, the Vision is on my list as well. The next vehicle on my list is a throwback. This is a sports vehicle, the Spectre and the Spectre Custom. This is actually a Benny's vehicle. That's how long ago this was added to the game. And we're in the Benny's, or the Spectre Custom, so this is the Benny's version. There's a bunch of customization on it, but in my opinion, this is one of, if not the best sports car as far as looks is concerned. Look, obviously in sports class, because Rockstar don't know how to freaking balance anything, the Pariah is still the undisputed champion, and that's been in the game for like 3 years. They're apparently never going to fix the Pariah in the sports class being broken as far as performance goes. But with that being said, I mean, the Spectre Custom here, its performance is not bad by any means. It's definitely up there in the sports class, but it looks so good. And it's got the wide body mod, which you can throw on if you want. And I absolutely love that on vehicles. That's why the Comet Retro Custom is one of my favorite cars to customize in the game. And this car just looks so sleek. It's much like the XA21, where it's not a complicated looking vehicle. It just looks so good. The lines are so nice and everything about it looks great. And the fact that the performance and handling is good, I mean, it's a pretty great vehicle. And I don't remember the price off the top of my head because we're in single player, but because it has been so long, I want to say it's actually relatively cheap to get this vehicle. And probably for most of these vehicles because they are a little older. But yeah, that is my third vehicle. Again, keeping it in the sports class, the fourth one on my list is actually a pretty recent vehicle, shockingly. But I feel like this one almost got like no recognition, and that's because it's, at least in terms of performance in the sports class, like it's not really great because it's not meant to be great. It's a four-door vehicle, and I don't think any four-door vehicle really can compete with some of those top-tier sports cars. But even with that being said, even though it doesn't compete, I mean, it's still great for driving around free roam because it is fast, does control pretty good, and it looks great. This vehicle is the Komodo, or Komoda. Sorry about that. And I love the front of this vehicle. It looks great from the front. The back is pretty solid. I mean, it's a pretty standard looking back, but the fact that it is one of the fastest four-door sports vehicles in the game, and the fact that it looks great, this thing is incredible when you're driving around with your crew and you're just trying to drive around, have fun, not really worrying about blowing up. Maybe you're in a invite-only lobby or something. This is a vehicle I love to bust out. One of my friends recently told me I should check this out, despite, again, that it released not too long ago. And I did, and I've just absolutely loved driving this thing around. I love the four-door look. It's not as flashy as some of the other sports and supercars, although it does have some decent customization if you are looking for that. But I just thought I would throw in this four-door car because I don't see it rarely ever. And then finally, I couldn't really decide, so I decided to put two. So this is technically the top 6 most underrated vehicles in the game, but we're going way back with this one. And the reason I chose this one, this bike, over some other bikes is because I think it's just a little more useful than some of those other bikes. And I don't really do it as much now, although I just remember having so much fun grabbing this. This is the Ruffian, or the Ruffian. It is like $5,000. Like, it's so freaking cheap. And no, it's not the fastest bike in the game. Not even close. But the one thing this does is it wheelies exceptionally well. And the reason I love it for wheeling is, like, you want to get over this wall? Normally, you got to go around it. With this bike, you just wheel. Okay, maybe not that wall. That was a little too high. Nah, screw it. See, you can get over walls. That's basically what I just love wheeling and getting over walls that normally you couldn't get around, and you just end up in places that just make the game fun and exciting and new. Because, like, you end up in some dude's backyard, or you end up in crazy locations, and for, like, again, like, what was it, like $10,000 this thing costs? It's so inexpensive. I mean, it looks pretty solid. It's a solid looking bike. Yeah, there are some other maybe better ones, but for the price, this one honestly is, I think, underrated. And the fact that it probably hasn't been used in however many years since it's been in the game for so long, that is why I wanted to put it on this list. Like, just I love doing this sort of stuff. Driving around. Look, I'm in someone's backyard. Not even intentional. I was just driving around. And if you get stuck, you just wheelie out. And for the most part, you can get away. And obviously with the benefit of the motorcycle club, you can call this instantly if it does end up getting stuck somewhere. So if you're looking for something different to do in GT Line, bust this bad boy out. And you'll end up in places apparently like I am on someone's roof. I did say this was top 6, no? And I wanted to throw a plane on here because, yeah, look, there's a bunch of vehicles, cars in the game, and it's hard to decide. So I wanted to find one that was kind of like useful and fun. And I honestly never really see this flying around. I'll bust it out every now and then because this thing goes so fast and I just love flying it around. Yes, you're going to crash a lot, but that's what makes it so fun. I love just getting as low to the ground as possible and just like zipping through things, going through the buildings, trying to survive. Like, look at that. Oh my God. See, that's so exhilarating. It's so exciting. And I love that. Now, granted, this one may be more on the expensive side because it's relatively new. I mean, this DLC was a couple years ago, but well, we would have died if we were not in God mode. But just seeing what you can do, I love this. Now, the unfortunate part, I am not entirely sure if this thing is fast enough to outrun missiles. I'm almost positive it's not, because I don't know if any plane can really outrun missiles. But because it is a part of that DLC, the airport hangar DLC, you can put like flares and stuff on this, so you can get around the city and you don't have to worry as much about people trying to blow you up. But I just love this. And honestly, with this one and the Roofian, it's just more about the fun factor and the fact that I rarely see people using it. So that's why I wanted to throw it on the underrated list. I mean, like, look at this. It's just so crazy. The handling and the way this plane works. I love it. But those are that's my list. Let me know your list if it differs from mine or if you agree with anything I've said. I am curious to read what some of your guys' underrated cars are, because I'm always looking for new vehicles to use, because I've used the same old vehicles for a really long time now. So let me know in the comment section, but that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Please drop a video like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more GTA Online content. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. That did not end well.